Hey, it's Al with Ballista. We're back today finishing up our conversation about the 4 pillars that make up your business. Last time we took a few minutes to talk about business strategy and understanding all of the facets that go into figuring out what your margin is so that you have a better understanding of how to turn your revenue into profit. Today we're going to go to that next level and talk about customer service and customer service planning. Now when it comes to customer service, you need a unique plan for your business. The reason is because your customers are unique to you, and understanding what your customers expect is really important when being able to rate what level of service you're performing and giving them. At the end of the day, the way to measure that outside of surveys is how willing are they to come back as a repeat customer and help you drive your revenue forward. Now, several years ago, I worked for a Fortune 100 insurer that had just signed on to a company that was giving away awards for customer service in the industry. And what they did was the company had created this standardized questionnaire to ask all of the insureds, whether they were, for example, a typical insured under, say, the general, which was a high-risk driver, 18 to 30 years old, or the AARP program, which is a 55 and older driver that has very different expectations from a customer service standpoint. So when you're looking at 2 very different demographics, asking the same question is not really going to yield the results that you want because the needs and the wants are different. So when it comes to customer service, first of all, you need to know your customer. Once you know who your customer is, ask them. Don't give them a survey, ask them what they want. Have focus groups. Bring in customers and say, hey, we want to know how did we do, and we want to know what we can do to improve our level of service. The auto industry is fantastic about focus groups. The last time you bought a brand new car, sometimes even a used car, but generally when you buy brand new, they invite you back to a new owner's dinner or a new owner's reception at the dealership. They give you dinner, sometimes it's hors d'oeuvres, but you have an opportunity to sit down with other drivers and they talk to you about your car, they talk to you about what they've done in that process, and they ask you point blank, what can we do to keep your business? Because they want you to come back to them as a repeat customer, specifically to do things like get work done on your car. So focus groups allow you to do that because your customer is literally telling you, hey, this is what you need to do for me to come spend my money with you. You can't get better than that. Now, outside of focus groups, because they're not always easy to do, depending on your industry or what your customer base looks like, email campaigns. You can do the same thing through an email campaign, asking very open-ended questions. And it's literally a matter of asking, what can we do to improve our service to you? Now that last part is really the important part. To you. It's not about every customer. You want to know on an individual basis, because here's the reality. Most of your customers, if you have figured out the right niche, are going to have very, very similar responses. But by customizing the question to be specifically directed at each customer as you talk to them or as they're able to give you feedback, now it becomes personal. Going further, going back to the conversation we had about sales, turn it into an emotional question. What can we do to make you feel better about your experience? How did you feel when you walked into our store? How did you feel when you received our email? How do our emails make you feel? How do our phone calls make you feel? Understanding what those emotions are and how to change those emotions based on your customer's response is what's going to help drive your customer service level up and ultimately make that person a repeat customer for your business. And at the end of the day, that is really the driver of your revenue. Because if you don't have to spend money on finding new leads, if you don't have to spend money on the conversion, now you're creating a revenue stream within your business that simply requires putting in a little bit of effort and not necessarily a lot of bit of money. So focus on your customers on a one-on-one basis. Get down to the emotion of it. How do they feel doing business with you, and how can you affect those feelings? How can you drive those feelings so that they have a good memory, a good emotional memory of doing business with you and get them to come back? So that's really our conversation on the 4 pillars. If you have questions about any of this, we'd love to have a conversation with you. Our website's right down here. Feel free to give us a call, message us. You can find us on Facebook. We'd love to have the conversation with you. Now stay tuned. We got some amazing things coming down the pike. You're really going to be interested in what's coming up. So we'll talk to you soon.